Sam, how are you doing this morning? You are at one of my favourite places in the world today, you lucky thing.
I know, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's a scene setter, isn't it? We are at Weta Workshops, and, well, this is the behind-the-scenes tour of Thunderbirds Go. Not just this is just one little display. In fact, the back room is absolutely littered full of the most amazing vehicles and landscapes. So that's what we're going to spend the morning doing today on Women's Day, is we're going to get in there, talk to some of the experts and get amongst it. So we've even got Sir Richard Taylor coming down, so it is going to make for a fantastic morning. And I think the vehicles do it for me. I'm a vehicles kind of guy, and I turn up thinking, oh, Thunderbird 2, you know, and you look at them and you go, magnificent. But wait until you see the landscapes. The landscapes that these guys have put together are just absolutely staggering. But let's go and have a look at the weather. We're going to start with the rain radar. So yeah, the temperatures are quite remarkable this morning. Christchurch 25 degrees, and of course we're looking at that scrub fire through Hamner. Now I've just done a temperature check through there. It's at 24 this morning. It's not a ripping wind. It's only about 13 k's through there at the moment. Obviously it's those dry, warm and windy conditions that spread fire. Another fact that's quite interesting, with Christchurch being at 25, with the southerly change today, your temperature is only getting cooler from here. Back to the models, because they are quite remarkable. Rawdon, would this be one of your favourite places? Are you a model builder? Have you built a model? Because I must confess I have.
Oh, I did lots of war models, planes and boats when I was a kid. Lots of them. Nothing quite as cool as that thing in front of you there.
Only ever Lego. No. Does it count if you were building like a police helicopter of Lego? No, not so much.
No.
Did you paint it? If you didn't paint it, it didn't count.
It's about glue and paint and little paint brushes and little paint pottles. Pottle? Pot? What's a pottle? Is a little pot.
Pottle, no, pottle's a thing.
So that'd make them really, really tiny pots if they were little pottles. Yeah, it's all about the newspaper out on the kitchen table and then hanging it. Just to me, he used to wear a big clock.
And I didn't know this. He's done so since 1987.
Why?
It was about the importance of time.
OK, so it was obviously deep and meaningful.
Yeah.
And we have no time, because we've got to get to Sammy. Sam, where are you, mate? Because you... Oh, look at this. This is like heaven, this place, isn't it, to little model makers? Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, this is the Crichton Ward Manor. So this is Penelope's house, if you've recognised it. Isn't it just a thing of absolute beauty? Like, just for example, this tiny little piece of the puzzle, and look at the beautiful little light uplighting onto the dog. Isn't that just amazing? It gets better, though. This place is just an absolute hoot. And so is Kimmy. Kimmy's here to talk props and stuff like that. And it's surprising, because some of the things that they use in these amazing models might surprise you. We're going to talk in just a second. We'll do the weather. Let's go and have a look at that rain radar, because a big old front's pushing up. Hours start to ease away. All right, mate, talk us through it, because it's not what you'd expect, is it?
It's definitely not. So it's generally made from a pile of rubbish. You've got the vehicle here and Kinder Surprise eggs, and that's what's sitting right on the back.
And there's also another one that I really liked on the back of the satellite dish here. If we spin it around, is
piece of Lego right in the back.
Isn't that amazing? And you've got some other bits and bobs here too. Yeah.
So what we're looking at is Hood's Lair, which is next to me, and it is filled with...
Hood's Lair, where does this fit into the story?
So he's the bad guy.
Okay.
So this is his ship, and where he sort of starts off, and it's the biggest junk pile you'll ever see.
Is that right? Talk us through, what have you got?
So down here, we have a disposable razor as light fixtures. Up along there you can see some squeezy bottles that are just filled with water. And my favourite ones are the bank pen holders. You go to the bank and you see the pens there.
I see, yeah. And I guess that's what you guys are encouraging people to do with the youngsters. Oh, watch your back, Charlie's slipping around the back. And that's where you get kids in here and you start to show them and encourage them that they can also do this?
Yes, I mean, you can start with taking like a drink bottle and then gluing some random stuff to it and make a cool rocket ship, because that's essentially how we started.
Do you know that my favourite one, are we allowed to rush around? We'll come for a little, just a quick walk, because I think this is my favourite one up here. It's the orange, what's it called? An orange zester. Where is that?
Keep going, keep going.
Yeah, the lemon squeeze. Have a look at that. That is a lemon squeeze, which is pretty much making the perfect kind of, well, what would you call that?
some extractor fan and
Yeah, extractor fan. Isn't it neat? And there's so much more to show you guys. The sets are just absolutely staggering. So yeah, stick around. We'll show you some
quick question. Quick question. The scale of the various models changes somewhat, doesn't it? Obviously, for the different types of filming. The one you just walked into, are they like full-sized? I mean, that's like a full-size set. That little tunnel you were just in, where the lemon squeezer is. So is that the set where they film?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Rawdon. You've actually hit the nail on the head. And we'll show you this a little bit later. Okay. I don't want to give away all my tricks right now, but what's the home base called? The
Tracy Island.
Yeah, Tracy Island.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got that in a range of different scales. So you can film with the characters in it, but then you've got the wide shot for the whole mountain as well. So Sir Richard Taylor's going to guide us through that one a little bit later. It is just ace.
Oh, that is so fascinating.
You loved it, ace. Is that uncool?
Number 8 wire technology going on there too, with the lemon squeezer and the pens and the Lego. I love it.
Yet he's such a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Sir Richard, every tiny detail has to be exact. However, if a Kinder Surprise egg capsule works, why not?
Wallace, because he's living his dream this morning at Weta Workshop.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, I'm living my dream, but you've really, that was a long chat to be in this tiny box, I have to say. Anyway, I was building up to a great reveal. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go. It's not quite as slick as what you might have been hoping. But why would Peter got carried away there? I was stuck in there like one of those ladies that gets sawn in half. Anyhow, we're going to be talking with Sir Richard in just a second. He's popping up at 7:35. In fact, he's just watched me come out of one of his models and he's shaking his head at me. He's not so sure about the scene of Thunderbirds. But let's get into the weather. We'll have a chat with him in about 25 minutes' time. We're going to start with the satellite. This is what it's looking like over... Staggering, isn't it? Isn't it absolutely amazing? This is, of course, one of the closer images, is probably a poor explanation, but around the other side is the wide shot, and it is just amazing how they work together. So we're going to pick Sir Richard Taylor's brain in just a small second, and that's exactly where I'm standing. In that pool, but that's the smaller one. Get it?
Wow.
How cool is that?
So, Sam, can people actually take tours of this, or are you just getting a special...
That's too small.
Yeah.
Well,
no, the model's too small.
This is why we're here. Yeah, the thing is, that's what they're doing. They're doing a tour. What is this? A library for ants? No, that's exactly what it is. It's a bit of a tour. To showcase these things. And the most amazing thing about these is that these are still working models. They're still using these to shoot ongoing series, and they're just trusting everyone. They're even trusting Charlie as he wanders between them. So,
amazing.
Yeah, careful, buddy.
And hey, look,
Yeah,
I know that I was
isn't
never into the models, but it does also look like a giant pimped out doll's house, so I get it too, okay? We'll see you soon, Sam.
Yeah, that's right, Roddy. Well, you almost did. Down a hill with a tail is pretty...
Being pushed.
Hey, this is good. Yeah, being pushed, yeah, with a hand, absolutely. Sir Richard Taylor has joined us now, and he's taken some time out of his very busy schedule, and we'll talk about that in just a second too, because it's absolutely nuts. But we're talking Thunderbirds as well. You do have to wait 1 minute while I go through the weather, though. I'm sure you don't mind. Then Thursday, Wallop, the next front, crashes into the west coast and races north. So, let's start at the very beginning. Thunderbirds, it's been a success. It's been picked up.
It has. It's great. It's playing in many parts of the world. It's just been picked up by America. Great thing is that it's going to play in Japan, which is one of the biggest fan bases in the world.
They love it, eh?
They love the original show, and hopefully they'll love our show as much. So it's really exciting.
Let's talk about the original, because obviously people that used to love the series used to love the characters which were effectively puppets. You guys changed the plan on that, and for very good reasons. Has it been accepted well?
Yeah, we were worried originally that, you know, a miniature that we'd build such as this, originally it was populated with real characters, puppets on marionetted strings that would bring the characters into the environment. And that's a much-loved part of the original feel of the show. But we realised very quickly, as much as I would love to have done the show as the original was done, that children today, a modern-day childhood audience, weren't going to accept marionettes. They need the dynamic, the visual interplay of the characters. in the faces. And so we ultimately went for digital characters and vehicles in a model-made world.
And it's been loved. It's working.
Yeah, it's great going to conventions now where the fans of the original will stand up and endorse the show, which is very, very thankful. But most importantly, when little kiddies come along dressed in modern-day Thunderbird outfits and want to come and talk about the show.
So why the tour? Why have you invested so much time into your hugely busy schedule to put something like this together?
We feel a compunction to make sure that the children, definitely of New Zealand, don't grow up not realising that these 10 magical things are for one thing only, and that's making cool stuff. And, you know, when we build a miniature such as this, we're trying to show children that something like this may be tricky to build and a complex model, but things like this model are actually just a pile of junk, as Kimmy was saying, and they can be built with relatively simple techniques. This model, in fact, was built by 2 young women that joined us from overseas, and they had never built a model like this before, but through, you know, tenacity and enthusiasm, something amazing can happen. So.
The lemon squeezer, though, it comes up with a great story as well, though. Can you tell us that?
Yeah, the lemon squeezer is one of those forehead slapping moments that you hit, because in the original show, they used to use bits of junk because it made it cheaper to build the models. It's called scratch build model making. You get things off the shelf already made. You know, there's a photocopier cartridge. It's junk, it was thrown in the bin, but there's a great technical component. To make that would cost a lot of money, but to find it's cheap. They used a lemon squeezer on the wall for some sort of jet turbine air intake. We built this miniature at a larger scale because we wanted it to look more detailed than what we could have achieved at the smaller scale. Came to put in the lemon squeezer, we actually had to 3D model and 3D print. That's probably the most expensive item in all the model. Oh, dear me.
Hey, just quickly before we go, because time has come to an end, unfortunately. We could talk all day, couldn't we? One of the things you were explaining was the angle of perception. So if you put a camera over the top of a model, it starts to look like a model, correct?
Correct. When the camera is up high, you have to be very thoughtful about using that perspective because it immediately throws a model like this into a miniature scale. But should you drop the camera to just about 5.5 to 6 feet off the apparent height of a surface, a model will start to take on the qualities of reality because now you're seeing it from the perspective of a human's point of view. And that's how the shooting crew often film these things. You know, it's a real tribute to a huge group of people that this has all come together.
And it's an absolute pleasure having a chat to you. I could chat to you all day about it. So I know your busy schedule continues. So back to the earpiece, back to work. There is literally no second in this day's man that isn't accounted for to the fact that he works till midnight every night. I don't know how much sleep he gets. It's not much.
It's all good fun.
It's all good fun.
Oh, we're very honoured to have him on breakfast.
Chat,
how
mate.
cool.
He's never ever thought of it as work either, and he's the most. He's a complete perfectionist. I remember when I last interviewed him was for the opening of the Te Papa Scale of Our War Gallipoli exhibition last year, and when I went in to meet him, he was in there and he was just moving a fly